time. Welcome back, Tarot Tribe. Welcome to my video today, and we're going to be talking about the Two of Wands. I'm super excited to bring this one to you. I really love this card. It's all about duality and choice, and we're just really going to get into it today. So first we're going to talk about the actual depiction of this card. So here I have the Two of Wands, and I, like my last video, I'm going to put it up on the screen. So here it is. Awesome. So let's look at this picture together. So here we see this man, right? And he's looking over this really luscious greenscape. It's got water, it's got mountains, it's got trees, and he's holding the actual world in his hand while he's looking out, pondering about a decision. So when you have twos in the tarot, two is all about duality and choice making. And depending on the suit that you're finding it in, it's about where in your life you're making that choice. So when we're dealing with wands, we're talking about physical change and physical action. And so this choice that's being brought up in this card is a physical one. So this means, do I move to this new house? Do I take this new job? Do I move across the country? Do I get into this relationship? Do I start this project? And really, when the core, what it boils down to is, do I stay with what I know, or do I move out of my comfort zone? Wands are a lot about courage, and when you pull the Two of Wands, it's talking about having the courage to be able to make this change. A lot of times you may already know what you want, you may have already made this decision, but now you're stuck in this, okay, like I know this part of my life and I really know that I can make it here, but I really want this. I'm just afraid that I don't know if I'm going to make it, and you're in that limbo right there of, do I do what I know, or do I do what I don't know and risk it? So the card is asking you to actually have courage to make this change. When you get this card, it is kind of saying like, hey, like this idea that came from the Ace of Wands is now time to make this decision, and it's time to really decide like whether you're going to do it, and you should do it. I think that it's talking about having courage to really step out of your comfort zone. That's really what the card is asking you to do, and to like really ponder it. The card is also asking for planning. It's also saying that this decision is going to be a quick one. It's going to be something that once you decide what you're going to do, like you're moving out of this stage, you've decided it, it's going to happen for you, you're going to do it. That's the very like general aspect of that. I think that it's kind of straightforward when it comes to the twos of any suit. Really depending on the other cards, it's going to really hone in on like maybe what this is talking about. Like, but if you're just pulling this one card, it's talking about a decision that needs to be made in the physical world. When you're reading for somebody and this pops up for either you or whoever you're reading for, this person's obviously seeking change somewhere. This card usually pops up when that person is seeking the change and needs this change in their life, but is afraid to make that next step. And so this is a good pusher, like, hey, well, we know you're here. The universe knows you're here. The universe is saying, like, I recognize you're in this decision phase, and that when you pull the wands aspect of it, like, it's time to have courage to make that change. It is okay to have courage. It's okay to be afraid, but, like, courage is all about being afraid to make this change, but then still doing it, knowing that everything's going to work out because you trust yourself and you trust in the universe. So let's talk about love when it comes to this card. So this card is a little bit less, I would say, positive in the love reading than the rest of the other categories that you will find this in. This is all about weighing up the option of whether you need to stay or you need to go, and that this card is a good indicator that one person has more energy than the other. You can see here where he's holding, when you look in the card, I'll put it right here. So if you see here, he's holding one staff and one's behind him, and this is kind of an indicator that one person's putting in more energy in this relationship than the other. And so it's really time to start considering, like, is it a good relation for you? If this is something that you've been kind of thinking about and this card pops up, it's really asking you to really sit there and think, like, what do you need for yourself? A huge part of this is use your intuition. So if your intuition is literally telling you, like, it's time to walk away from this relationship, you absolutely should do it. If your intuition is telling you, like, no, I want to stay and, like, see if I can make this work, you know, really think about this stuff beforehand. This is where you're in that decision-making phase. But the thing about this is it's telling you not to hesitate with this decision. Like, really make this choice and move on with it and really, like, own it. If you are not experiencing this and you pull this, another way you could interpret the card is that maybe it's time for you guys in your relationship to really pick up and travel more, or figure out, like, what do you guys need to do to make this relationship stronger. If you're single, it could be a choice between whether two lovers, or it could be a choice between, do I do this relationship or do I continue working in other aspects of my life? And whatever your gut is telling you, whatever your intuition is telling you, that's what this card is saying. Like, you have to go with that. You have to go with what your gut is telling you. If you do not do that, you're going to make the wrong decision in the long run. Okay, so let's talk about the career and financial definition with the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands, it can be symbolizing that it is time for a change in your career. If you've been thinking about, like, do I want to stay at this job, or do I want to pursue this other part of my career, or this other aspect of my life? Like, that's kind of where you're at right now. And again, intuition is huge key here. And also pay attention to the other cards surrounding it. But if you're just pulling the one card and you get this, it's about really focus on what your gut is telling you. If your gut is telling you it's time to take that new job, then you absolutely should. If it's something that you've been thinking about, then let's go ahead and make that decision. It's also saying to keep visualizing success for yourself. Like, when you see him pondering out there, like, he's manifesting something, he's visualizing something for himself. And when it comes to your career, like, that's exactly what this card is asking you to do, is to be able to visualize your success and really visualize where you want to be in your career, and then make the decisions to get there. This is kind of still a very baby stage in the suit of wands, so it's not exactly the part where you're making the actual changes yet, but it is starting to be that time where, like, okay, yes, you have to make this decision, and, like, if you don't leave this job now, you may never leave this job now, or, if you leave this job too soon, it may not be good. It's really all about your intuition, what you really feel is best for you. But the card really is just a big indicator, like, hey, it is time to make this decision now. Like, you can't hesitate much longer, or else the opportunities are just going to be taken off the table. When we're talking about, like, finances, so if you're asking a question more about, like, finances and you get this card is actually a great card for, like, financial stability. It's kind of saying that there is stability in your finances, that your money's going to be good, whatever that you're working on right now, like, the money is going to be flowing in for you a little bit more. You're going to be stable. It's not really a card saying, like, yeah, like, you're super rich, you can go do whatever you want, but it is saying that there is stability there, and you do have the options to make these decisions, and it's not going to hurt you too terribly bad in the long run. If it, it might make a dent in your money, but you're stable enough to make these decisions to make that move forward and kind of switch things up. So another thing about this I want to add is, like, this is a really good time for you to start making these decisions without too much serious consequences as far as, like, your career goes or, like, your finances goes. So if you're asking a job question or you're asking a money question and you get this and, like, you really want to pursue something but you're not 100% sure that, like, you're going to be financially stable enough to do it, this card is a great indicator, like, actually that you are in a good place, that you're going to be fine, that the universe will provide for you, and that it's really okay to make this decision. It's okay to move forward and really experience something new, and that not to worry so much about the finances, that part does come later. So, like, you're stable enough to do it. I think that if you're pulling this card, know that the universe is saying, like, hey, I'm here to take care of you. Like, you've taken care of yourself. Like, let's do this together and let's make your dreams come true. If you're thinking positively and you're really showing the universe that you have the energy and the ability to want to pursue this, and you're really asking for these things, that this card is a great message saying, like, yeah, like, I'm here for you. Make your decision and let's move forward. Like, I'm here to provide for you, and let's make this happen. Like, I want to see you happy. The best thing that we can do for ourselves is to make ourselves happy. Like, that's our highest good that we can be, is to be happy, because then we radiate that and we pass that along to the people that we encounter. And so, if you're asking this and you get this card, like, yeah, make that decision, just go, and don't worry about your finances too much, and like really just follow your heart. And the wands are about passion. It's about being happy and like really doing what you want to do. And so when you're pulling this and you get this card and you're like, man, I really want to take this new job, I really want to do this, but the money may not be right, or like, I'm worried about my kids or my house payment or my rent. Like, don't worry about it. Like, the universe will provide, as long as you have to obviously make the action to do it. Like, you have to take care of yourself. But like, if you're putting that positive energy out there and you're really working hard and striving hard and like putting all your passion and energy towards something, like the universe will provide for you. And that's the message behind this when it comes to like your career or like your finances. All right, so let's talk about health with the Two of Wands. So health with the Two of Wands, it's kind of similar to the Ace when it comes to like your health questions, but now you're in that decision phase of like, okay, so let's talk about maybe like if you've decided like, man, I really think I should start to be more healthy, like I want to exercise or whatever, and so now it's time to weigh up those decisions, like how are we going to exercise, like what am I going to do, how is this going to work for you? So like maybe you're somebody who like the gym isn't necessarily going to work for you, you're not going to go to the gym, like you don't want to pay for the gym, but you don't mind being outside, you don't mind hiking. So now it's that decision of like, okay, so I'm not going to join the gym, but I am going to do this, and like really start planning out that adventure for you and like this new lifestyle choice. It is saying that like, once you have that idea, so now it's manifesting how we're going to make this idea come to light for you. So kind of this is a planning stage when it comes to that for your health, and like making the right decisions and making sure that like you're setting yourself up for long-term success. If you are sick and you're asking this question, or somebody is sick and they're asking you the question of health and they don't know what's going to happen. So this is about like weighing up choices as far as like doctors, treatments, how far you're willing to go with this treatment. It's about all this weighing up. And so if someone's asking you that and they're sick and they're asking like, what do I need to do? How do I go about this? And they pull up the Two of Wands. I think the message behind that is like, so now you would say to them like, hey, like I see that you're struggling with decisions on how to care for yourself and like where to go from here. And, it's really what this card is telling me is that you have to trust your gut. Like if your gut is telling you like, hey, this is the best doctor for you and like this is the best treatment for you, you can't worry about what your family is saying, what your friends are saying. Like you have to do this for you. And so maybe if there's somebody out there that's not actively seeking a treatment for being sick and that's what they really truly want and that's what their gut is telling them, but their family is coming in at them and they pull this card, reassure them that like they're going to know what's best for them and that they really need to do what's best for them, and that ultimately like this card is a great symbol for that. And you got to weigh up your options and look out through everything, but ultimately this is your decision. This isn't much of a health card. There's not a lot of information out there about it. I would say that this is mostly about weighing up options of whether how to be healthy or like how to treat yourself if you are sick. All right, and then we're going to talk about like the spirituality behind this card. And so again, it's about making that decision of how you're going to discover your spirituality, like what works best for you. So, especially with spirituality, it's a really flooded thing. You can go onto the internet and find so much stuff. You can read 1,000 different books. There's 100 different religions and sects of those religions. And, you can go in so many different ways with this. And like, I think this is where people get confused. And so a lot of times this card will pop up, or at least the dualities. So the twos in the tarot will pop up when it comes to like decision making for your, spirituality. And so this is about, again, trusting your intuition and really leaning on faith. And so, kind of pay attention to what you're being drawn to. So if you're having a question of like, I'm lost in my spirituality, like I don't really know what to do, like I'm seeking answers, like this is going to be a sign of like, start paying attention to like what you're drawn to. And then like, that's what you need to focus on. If you're not somebody who can go sit and be in a group of people or go sit in a church or, whatever you're looking for, then maybe that's not your option. And so you don't need to hear that outside pressure from other people to go and do that. Maybe you're somebody who would rather read the books or search the internet or like kind of dive in with yourself, or vice versa. Maybe you're not somebody who can actually sit there and read the book and feel that spirituality come from that. You're more of somebody who needs to sit in a sermon or a group of people and like really talk it out, and like that's how you're going to learn. And so this card is all about pinpointing that, and like also asking the universe for symbols, asking the universe for like signs of like where you need to go. I promise you, once you start asking the universe for signs to show you like what you need to do and like what your path is, she will provide. She will start showing you. You'll start noticing synchronicities. You'll start noticing things aligning. It's really, really crazy that once you just start paying attention, it is out there. And so, like, again, the 2 is asking you to start, like, really honing in on, like, what you need to do for yourself, and, like, not really listen to the outside pressures or thinking, like, you know, if you read something saying, like, you have to do this, that's not necessarily true. It's all about having the courage to make that change, and then, like, allowing yourself to really just push yourself through there and not really listening to, like, the outside world. This is all about you. This is all about, like, what you need to do, not what somebody else is telling you need to do. All right, so now let's talk about the reversal of this. Again, like I said in my last video, so if you're pulling the card and it's upside down and you don't want to do reversals, so pay attention. So if you're reading this and it looks like this, just know that this card required more effort to turn upside down, or to turn right side up, I'm sorry. And that when you're reading for yourself or somebody else, like, you need to make note of that, like, hey, like, while this energy is happening for you in this reading, it's upside down, and so this card needs more effort. Like, it's not going to be something that's just going to come naturally to you. And so really pay attention to that in your life. If you are somebody who likes to do the reversals, this card is all kind of about going inward with yourself and, like, knowing that, like, you may not be absolutely ready for that change or to make that decision yet, that there's some type of barrier, and you have to start looking inside yourself to figure out that barrier so you can remove it. It's a great sign saying that, yeah, like, while your energy is there, like, you do have the decision in front of you, you're not exactly ready to make this decision yet because there's mental blockages, there may even be physical blockages that you have to tackle first before you're in that right mindset to start making these changes. It's indicating that, like, while your ideas are fruitful, that you are lacking the motivation and you're haphazardly doing it. So when you're getting this and you're getting wands, this is not about half-assing anything. This is about making sure that you're putting your full energy and attention into it. And so, like, if you're trying to make something happen for yourself and you realize, like, hey, like, I may not be putting the effort in for that, that's why this isn't happening for you. I try to tell people, like, you know, things don't always just fall in your lap. Sometimes, you know, if you're asking the universe for it, sometimes, like, that's how she provides. But realistically, it's all about, like, how you're going to make it happen for you while also changing that mindset and putting it out there. And so if you're, like, just half-ass doing something and, like, you think that's going to work for you, it's probably not. And so pay attention to this. If you're reading and you realize, like, why is this not working for me? And then you get this 2 of Wands reversed, that probably means, like, hey, like, you're not putting enough energy into this. Like, the wands are all about energy. And so if you're not putting that passionate energy into something, like, this idea requires that. And that's what the card is trying to tell you, and it's coming in reversed. Another interpretation you can get for it being reversed is that you are afraid to step into this new path of yours, that you're afraid of the unknown, and that you'd rather stay in the area that is lit up and you know well, even if you're not happy for it, like, the change is just too uncomfortable for you. And if that is the case for you or the person that you're reading for, the best advice I can give you is that, like, when you feel uncomfortable doing something, like, you know it's right for you, you know that it's what you need to do, and it's uncomfortable, that just means that you're cracking out of your shell and you're expanding. You know, I was actually reading for somebody the other night, and I used the metaphor of a snake shedding its skin. So, like, if you're not ready to shed your skin, you're just gonna be in this tight skin, like, holding you there, and, like, even though your soul is getting bigger, you're not allowing your shell to crack. When a snake is shedding its skin, the snake doesn't move for, sometimes weeks. It doesn't eat, it just sleeps because it's so uncomfortable. It can literally not move. And then as soon as the snake sheds its skin, you'll see it's got all the action in the world. It's got all the energy in the world. It's moving around. It's eating again. It feels brand new and happy. And so that's kind of what this is. If you're getting that 2 of Wands reversed, it means it's time to shed your skin. Your soul is becoming too small for, like, this shell. And it's time to step into that unknown. And it's time to really make it happen for you, you know, whether you're scared or not. Like, it's probably a good thing for you, especially if you know it's right for you. You're just afraid to step away from it. Guys, this was such a quick and short video, but I'm really excited. I'm so happy that I have this one out here for you guys, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you guys want to see some other stuff, let me know. I'm going to keep putting stuff out there. I think I'm going to actually start implementing like card readings on here too, so really excited to be on the lookout for that. Other than that though, that's it for today, and I really appreciate you guys watching my video, and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!